All right, hey, I'm just checking in with my monthly wrap up for April of 2025. This was a very slow month for me. Actually, every month has been getting progressively slower for me in terms of reading, so I gotta pick it up. And you'll see, I only read 4 books this month, which is terrible considering January I read 12, and I was thinking, oh, I can keep this momentum all year. Yeesh. But let me just get right into the books that I did actually read this month. So the first one was Master of the Game by Sidney Sheldon. This is 495 pages. Sorry, I have my notes written down right in front of me. I read this from April 4th to the 9th. That was 5 days. And I really enjoyed this book. I actually read my mom's copy of the book and then ordered this on Thrift Books, so I have kind of a random beat up copy. But this was really good. It was about a woman who is taking over her father's giant company, and it's just a lot of cutthroat, ruthless people turning on each other, being assholes to each other, only having their own best interests in mind. It's awesome. It's a good book. I didn't like any of the characters on a personal level, pretty much, but I did like the book. The next book I read was The Well of Ascension by Brandon Sanderson. This was 598 pages, and I started this March 31st, and I finished it on the 23rd of April, so that was 23 days that it actually took me to get through this. And this book is a big reason why I didn't read a whole lot this month. I just was struggling through the first half of this book, honestly. I struggle with fantasy. I've been finding that out recently. Anytime I have a fantasy book that I'm reading, it takes me way longer than any other kinds of book because I'm just not as excited to read it. Like, the stories end up being pretty good and I enjoy them, but just I don't enjoy the process of reading fantasy as much. It's just a lot of big name. This one's not big names or anything, but it's just I for whatever reason I just don't click with fantasy very well. I don't enjoy them as much as I enjoy regular, like, modern world or whatever. But The Will of Ascension is the second book in the Mistborn series, and it's also the second Sanderson book that I have read. I really enjoyed it. The second half of the book really got me hooked more so than the first half, and it made me have a bigger appreciation for the first half of the book as well. Even with all that stuff about fantasy being said, I am still excited to read the third book in the series. The next book I read was Mickey 7. This was 313 pages. I read this from the 24th of April to the 28th of April, being 4 days. I really enjoyed this book. I talked about how much I dislike this movie cover, because this book is not named Mickey 17. That is the name of the movie. The book is named Mickey 7, and yet that's down here. It's super dumb to put something like that on there, but whatever. The book itself is really good. I enjoyed it. It's about a guy who signs up to be what is called an expendable in this far, far distant future where space colonization is a thing. And every time he dies, they are able to reprint a version of him using, like, protein and calcium and his last uploaded memory. And they're able to pretty much create a new version of him. So it starts the book on the 7th iteration, Mickey 7, and they send him out on these dangerous missions, and if he dies, they can just make a new one. So that's the premise and the start of this book. I really enjoyed it, and I do still want to see the movie. The last book that I read this month was 463 pages, and I read it in a day because I wanted to at least have 4 books read this month, so I powered through Dead Man's Walk by Larry McMurtry. This is the 3rd book in the Lonesome Dove series. I enjoyed this a lot more than I was anticipating. This is a prequel to Lonesome Dove. It happens way before Woodrow Cole and Augustus McCrae are well known at all, and it's them coming into the rangering game, pretty much into being Texas Rangers, and their first big expedition and how it all kind of goes wrong. It's really enjoyable. I liked this book a lot, and even reading it within a day, sometimes I know that can have either a negative or a positive impact on my reading experience anyways, how quick I read the book. I was honestly so hooked that it was easy to read this in a day. I had started it in the morning and finished it by the next morning, so it hooked me, I guess. It hooked me. Westerns so far, at least with Larry McMurtry books, have really tended to hook me pretty quick. But so these are the 4 books, the only 4 books that I got through this month. It is not a lot of reading. This is probably my lowest reading month since like August of last year. Eesh, I gotta do better, so I will work on doing better. I don't really have much of a look ahead right now because it is very similar to my April look ahead, the future look ahead. I have like 4 or 5 books owned that I have not read yet, so I'm going to get through those. At least I'll probably get through those by the end of this month, I hope. They're all pretty big books, but fingers crossed. Anyways, I appreciate y'all for sticking around this long, and thanks.